All right, hello, wine drinking people. Today is Tuesday, January 25th. Getting ready to drink some Chateau Latour tonight. Man, we've had a slew of great events already here in 2011. As you can see, the dead soldiers here from the Chateau Latour tasting last Friday night. That's right, folks. It may be what I drank yesterday, but some days just go on and on and on. So it's what I drank the last time since we've talked, and Chateau Latour was Friday night, and we had an absolutely killer event at Cafe Max with 13 lucky tasters. Chateau Latour all the way back to 1928, and I'm always a little bit leery about opening up a lot of old bottles, because if you get one or two bad ones, you don't have enough to drink. But everything showed up on this evening. The 1928 I've had for 10 years, 8 to 10 years here at the store, just been salivating at it. We actually drank a bottle 2 years ago, the exact same picture-perfect bottle. Look, this one was corked at the Chateau in 1966, and you can tell that when you pull the cork out. It says it on there. And the wine was an absolute perfect example of 1928 Latour, which is a stunning old vintage. You notice a little bit of that camphor, a little bit of that menthol on the nose, but still had some lovely red currant berry fruit and wonderful velvety tannins, really soft and lovely freshness on the finish. This wine I would give a killer rating, my highest rating, but all the wines, as I mentioned before, showed up. The 1966, a lot of people call this one of the wines of the vintage, and that underrated vintage, and this wine was absolutely spectacular as well. Really sweet, red cherry fruit, red plum in that, and some exotic spice, and again, lovely freshness here on the finish. This wine seemed like it could go another 10, 20 years or more. And then the 75, which the 70s is all kind of underwhelming for me in Bordeaux, but this wine also drinking beautifully. Maybe not quite as much fruit as the 66, maybe not quite as much complexity, but still a beautiful example of this wine. Next up, we had the wine of the night, the 1982, and we were showing 82s from great properties like Latour. It should be the wine of the night. And this wine drinking beautifully, although, again, you could hold on to most of your better 82s for another 20, 30 years or more. Parker calls this wine somewhat Pomerol-like. I don't know. To me, it was pretty much classic Latour. Some of that little pencil-lead graphite starting to show in these younger vintages. And again, that lovely concentration and richness. These wines just seem to go on and on forever. All right, the 85 vintage was next, and this is a vintage I've been touting for a long time. You'll pay $2,000 for 82 Latour. 85, we still have a few bottles at under $500. Oh, I'm sorry, we sold them last night at the tasting. All the 85s went out, as I said. This is a vintage that is drinking beautifully right now, and one that is somewhat affordable, especially when you look at vintages like 1982. 88 and 89, a pair of very impressive vintages, but the 89 kind of took the show for me in the end. 88 was showing a little more tannic to start out. The 89 a little lighter, a little softer, but at the end of the night, and I end up kind of edging out the 89 over the 88 here, but both excellent wines. And then we jumped up a few years to 1996. 96, a stunning Latour, still somewhat young, and these current generation Latours, you start to notice a little more alcohol in these wines, a little more black currant fruit, really intense richness, still some of that camphor and that mint and menthol, but that's kind of underlying because the oak is still somewhat predominant in these wines. This 96 is a baby. One of the things Latour is famous for is for lasting a very long time. 98 may be a little better choice to drink today, but still a baby. Lovely concentration, lovely richness, lovely balance. The better 98s will last another 20, 30 years or more, but still not quite the behemoth that the 1996 is. And then we jump way ahead to 2006, and a lot of tasters were surprised with this 2006. You know, it was a wine that showed incredible velvety, smooth tannins on the tongue, and seemingly very drinkable, but still the finish, you could tell this wine has got years ahead of it. Hey, I didn't mention we started with the 07 Yesterdat, one of my favorite dry white Bordeaux's. What a lot of people don't know is that all the sweet Sauterne producers make a small amount of dry wine. They usually just label it with the first letter, this S from Sudereau, Yesterdat. Hey, we only get a few six-packs of this wine in South Florida a year, and the Wine Watch usually buys all of them, all 14 this year. It's not that hard of a task. This wine's the exact opposite blend of most other white Bordeaux's that are made in Pessac. It's about 80% Semillon, 20% Sauvignon Blanc, and a hint of Muscadet. And hey, we also had one of the great Sauternes, La Forêt Paraguay. We just got an incredible deal on this wine. It is $39 a bottle on sale. Are you kidding me? A couple of people that know this wine jumped right on this last night at the event. And hey, we still got a little 1928 in the glass. It's amazing. Even the next day, this wine still smells beautiful. All right, folks, well, that's what I had to drink yesterday at our Chateau Latour tasting. I'm your host, Andrew Lampisone, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.